Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Gary's back over again this week. Do a couple more album sort of reviews and a couple of VHS reviews as well. And also a little bit of a shout out to Peter Booth. Lovely speaking to you the other day, Pete, and it'll be good to all meet up one day, get Steve over and that. We'll have a nice little catch up. Hope you're watching, mate. I'm going to text you anyway and make sure you are. Hope you enjoy the video. Here we go, girl.
Yeah,
go on, fire away, mate.
Well, this is one of Pete's favourites, actually.
Oh,
an album that he used to talk to me about. It's the soundtrack to the film Sorcerer by William Friedkin. The music's by Tangerine Dream. And I remember he used to say to him, "That's unusual for you," because I knew he was like a kind of 50s, kind of 60s pop guy, you know. But he had this record. He was always talking to me about it. So when I saw it one day, I bought it because I thought, oh yeah, I remember Pete talking about it, and so there it is. But it's a good album, and it's the film is really good as well. Actually, the film has just come out. The film was made in 1977 or something, and it wasn't available to see for years. It was never on video, never on DVD. But then all of a sudden, it came out on Blu-ray, and it's Roy Scheider,
right.
know? And,
Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider, you know, the actor from Jaws.
Jaws, yeah, I thought it was him, yeah.
And
brilliant.
It's really good. It's like basically the story is they're all these blokes are kind of on the run from the law, and they're out in the jungle in Brazil, and they all want to get out. So they get paid so much money to take this dynamite through the jungle.
Brilliant cover, that, on
these lorries, and that's like a rope bridge they've got across. And you can imagine any little thing, any little movement could set the dynamite off, you know.
What's this called? Tangerine Dream?
Yeah, Tangerine Dream. They're like a progressive rock band I think they came from Holland. But most of their stuff was, even though they were like rock, their stuff was all electronic, you know.
Give you a nice 10 seconds of music.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's it. But, yeah. It's a bit of a trippy sort of album. It's the sort of thing that you could put on when you come home from the pub and that. And
sounds like it, mate.
Chill out to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't know what that was.
But,
anyway.
Basically, he made this film. He made The Exorcist in 1973.
Right.
And this was because The Exorcist was such a huge success. I suppose he was able to sit back for a bit and not do anything. William Friedkin, and then he made this film in between The Exorcist. Another controversial movie he made called Cruising with Al Pacino, but this was the one in the middle, and yeah, it's good stuff, right. You know.
So there you go, Tangerine Dream by the Sorcerer.
The Sorcerer is the name of the album, and
good album, that.
Yeah. So right, let's do a video now then.
Oh, okay. You threw that in there, didn't you? A little mix up.
Yeah. Let's mix and match a bit.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, this is Dolomite.
Right.
And this is like another one of them blaxploitation things. And Dolomite was the guy's called Rudy Ray Moore, and he was like an American comedian before Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. And his albums are like all X-rated. And I remember watching TV once, and Ice-T was on TV.
Right.
Ice-T, the rapper. And he said that they're the sort of records that you can only ever buy in the drugstore in New York,
right.
Or in like a bodega. They didn't sell them in record shops because they were like X-rated records. But that's the film that he made. He made a few films after that, but that was the first one, Dolomite. And it's your standard sort of like blaxploitation thing, but it's a bit more humour in it, like,
yeah.
You know.
Army of Kung Fu Killers, all girls apparently.
There's lots of kung fu in it, lots of
Yeah,
he's
got lots of bit of the other.
Yeah, he's got like a stable of wenches, like, you know.
Funny that how most of your videos got a little bit of filth in them, haven't they? That's actually brilliant.
Yeah,
it's almost like a 70s, but you only associate this with like British.
Yeah.
Sort of that sort of like the Beatles and stuff like that. Like that cover.
That sort of psychedelic cover.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like if you saw that and you didn't know, you might think it was like a Starsky and Hutch thing or something.
Yeah, it does look like that sort of thing. Yeah. I love that sort of style. It's great. Look
good,
at that. I'll put that in front there.
Good stuff,
Have a look at that.
That's it.
Great
So
stuff.
so what should we do? Should we do another video or do another record?
Well, you threw that in at me, didn't you? You shot me with that one. So is that?
This is the actress Virginia Madsen,
Right.
who was in Candyman.
Yeah.
And this is another. This is good. It's called Slam Dance. This one, and it's. I mean, I saw the film once, and I didn't really know what to make of it actually, but I think Adam Ant was in it.
He is. Yeah. Says it there.
And the actors, they're all good actors, but
Harry Dean Stanton as well, which was in the film with Nicolas Cage.
That's right.
And Laura Dern.
Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart,
Yeah,
brilliant film.
yeah.
Soundtrack to that superb as well.
Yeah.
It's Chris Isaac.
Chris Isaac,
Yeah.
and there's a few other like tracks that have been chucked in there, but yeah, mostly Chris Isaac. But yeah, I mean, I like this record because it's got a couple of good tracks on it, and the film was a bit hit and miss really, but the actors are good. But that Virginia Madsen, I didn't realise this until a couple of years ago. Her brother is Michael Madsen, the actor from Reservoir Dogs.
Oh right, yeah.
One who chopped the
that's
copper's
right.
ear off.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's her brother. I never knew that because they don't look anything like each other really. But yeah, but it's a good sleeve and that. And if I remember correctly, she's not really in it. She's in it, but she doesn't have much to say in it. She's just like part of the scenery, I guess.
That's pretty good, that though, mate.
Yeah. Slam Dance. Okay. Right, the next one I got. Now this is another nice actress. This is Maria Conchita Alonso.
Right.
And I got this record in Spitalfields, and because I knew her straight away from films. Like she was in Colours. She played the part of Pac-Man's girlfriend in Colours.
Sean Penn.
Yeah.
I thought I recognised her.
She's been in loads of other films as well. Like she's been in, I think she was in a couple of Arnold Schwarzenegger films. Like she might have been in Total Recall or something. And also I'll tell you what she was in. One of our favourites. She played Alva.
I thought I was going to say that Vampire's Kiss.
Yeah, Vampire's Kiss. Yeah, but I never knew she'd made a record. And when I was down Spitalfields and I saw that, I thought, oh, I've got to get that. I mean, she looks fabulous on the cover anyway. She looks great, you know. But
is there a track on there at all?
well, no, it's mostly all Spanish stuff. But
Right.
that one there, Por Ti Por Me, was about the most upbeat. But it's
Let's have a listen.
it's sort of, it's kind of like Spanish pop, really. Reminds me a little bit of like that kind of Laura Branigan sort of music, you know. You see what I mean? That sort of vibe, that 80s kind of vibe, you know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you
But
mean.
no, I mean, I just thought to myself, like, I've never even knew that she made a record, and I thought,
Yeah,
how nice
so,
she looks. And,
yeah, so different, that, isn't it?
yeah, and I thought I have to get that because, like I said, I always remember her in that Colours. It was
That's
a
a
great
good one to
film.
keep. That, yeah.
Yeah,
So they're quite rare things like that. I mean, that's not something you get every day in a shop, would it?
no,
really?
that's what I mean. I mean, that's why I got it because I'd never ever seen a record buyer, and yeah, you wouldn't, like I said, you went looking for that in the shop and that you might not find it, but just by chance I got it in Spitalfields, you know, and which is good. Yeah, it's good. It's a good place. I mean, last Friday I didn't go, but last Friday was Record Store Day apparently,
Right.
or last Saturday, and it was absolutely packed apparently on the Friday because they have it on a Friday, you know, and it was packed in there, so everyone was there. Now these two are the sort of things that you might remember from when you was a kid growing up, you know. I've got two here. They're like the TV themes. That's a BBC one, and this is like TV Times.
Right. Brilliant.
These are like, I mean, you got things like Kojak on there.
I mean, the pictures on the front are great, aren't they?
yeah. I mean, as you can see, Kung Fu.
Oh, well,
Everyone
yeah,
remembers.
David Carradine.
Everyone remembers Kung Fu from the 70s, and they were growing up, you know.
Brilliant.
And I mean, not all the tracks are good. I mean, a couple of them are a bit, you know, bit naff like, you know. But stuff like Kojak and the Kung Fu theme and that, pretty good. Yeah.
It's a bit of a weird mix, really. You got Kojak.
Yeah.
You got Man About the House, which
Yeah,
is
I know.
if anyone from America's watching, You might have seen it over there. It was like a British comedy in the 70s, I suppose.
That's right.
Yeah.
I liked it actually. I liked Man About the House. I liked that program. The music is good as well. I like the theme for it.
They're great pictures as
And
well.
if I can remember correctly, if Pete is watching, I think he likes Sally Tomsit, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly.
That's right, yeah, he did. That's it.
But
There you have it. More TV times, top TV themes played by Jack Parnell and his orchestra.
Well, Jack Parnell was like a jazz drummer, but he sort of like went off to do that sort of stuff. And he's also most famous for being on the Muppet Show. Jack Parnell was on
can't get much better than that,
the
can you?
Muppet Show one time.
Get much bigger than that.
That's just another one. But this record actually has got his top BBC TV themes. It's got the theme from Angels on it. And do you remember Angels?
Oh, dude, the nurse thing.
The nurses,
yeah. That brings back so many memories.
And the actual tune for the actual tune for Angels is really good. It's quite.
My mum remember that Angels because I think it was at the time she had her accident.
Yeah.
You got one there as well. Gangsters by Chris Farlow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can remember watching that Gangsters at home back in the 70s with my mum and dad and that. And it was a good series.
I'll have a look see what that tune is because I don't know the tune.
Chris Farlow and Dave, because Chris Farlow, he was he was from the 60s, wasn't he?
And he lived at the Angel.
Yeah, that's right. He come from round Islington Way, didn't he?
Yeah, and he, if my mum's watching this, she'll remember it was what was the tune? Chris Farlow.
Oh, Out of Time.
Out of Time.
Yeah, that was his main. That was his main hit. Yeah, it was on the label was like Immediate. It was like a right mod label with like arrows on the label. But
oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Gangsters. Chris Farlow and Dave Greenslade.
Yeah, I think it's quite unusual.
It's actually got that album cover on
it.
Oh
right.
Look.
Yeah, look at that. Because this is the tune, isn't it? Because this was set in Birmingham. This series, Gangsters, and the actor was Maurice Colborne, I think. But it was a unusual sort of like tune in that.
Yeah,
and
very
I remember
weird.
the series. But also on this album is the theme for the Algo Whistle Test, which is Stone Fox Chase,
right? Yeah.
Area code 615. But the Angels one is really good. It's really funky, you know. If you can find it on there, it's the Angels theme by Alan Parker. It says there.
Here we go.
But it's the sort of thing that you can imagine, like crate diggers getting the beats for it, you know.
Yeah, there's actually quite a few, isn't there?
Yeah.
I'll get the internet working.
That bit of like beat at the beginning.
It's a bit low, but
yeah. Angels.
It's not dissimilar from the Professionals, is it?
Yeah, it's that same kind of vibe, isn't it? Because the Professionals is a great theme.
So there you go. Top BBC TV themes.
Yeah.
Records and tapes from the BBC. Brilliant. You don't get stuff like that anymore.
You don't see that about that often.
Nah. Few faces on there.
That's that Gangsters there. That's right. Actor there.
Few faces there.
Do you remember that girl there? She was the bird that had an affair with Ray Langton in Coronation Street.
Yeah, and this is the one when I was a kid. I had a little bit of a crush on that.
I must admit, I quite liked her myself.
Didn't realise how ugly she was, but you don't know as a kid, do you?
I quite liked her myself. I think, yeah. Right, the next film. This is a classic British horror film. This is Extra, and it's.
What I can't make out, what's confusing me, is the left-hand picture is like a wolf man.
Yeah.
The middle picture looks like Michael Jackson in the clown's outfit.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And the last one looks like some sort of thriller, completely different.
Yeah. It's really strange, isn't it?
All a bit weird.
Well, one night there was a thing on YouTube about weird sightings and stuff, you know.
Right.
And they showed a clip of this film, and they showed something. Then they said, "This isn't a weird clip. This is from a film called Extra," which I remember it. I mean, when this came out,
right?
And basically, it's about a guy who disappears and he comes back from outer space or something, and gets back in with his family, but he's not the same, you know. But it's actually quite gory. In fact, years ago it was banned at one point because there's one scene where there's a woman in it and she gives birth to like a man, you know, and the way it's filmed is like it's unbelievable really for the time.
Do worry about you sometimes. Some of the stuff you get hold of.
No, it was just like that scene was cut out of it, you know, and but that's a video. I don't know if it's out on DVD or not, but I mean, it's a British horror film. That's what's good about it. And it's because a lot of British horror films are a bit hit and miss, aren't they, sometimes?
Yeah, apart from, I don't know if it was a British horror film anyway, was it? American Werewolf in London?
Well, that was good. I mean, that was about the same time as that. And I think that a lot of the early horror films are great, like the Hammer films and all that.
That's great.
But they sort of like went off the boil a bit during the late 70s, early 80s. But that is really good, that is, that extra. And it's what's name's in it? Lou Beale from EastEnders.
Oh, right. Really?
She plays this neighbour in the downstairs flat who keeps on like interfering, and this thing in the middle, this magician thing, keeps popping up all the time, you know, and he does something to her, like, you know.
That sounds really odd.
But it is a good film, you know, and it's set in London.
I was going to say filmed in London.
Filmed in London, yeah. There's bits when you see him walking down, like it looks like somewhere like Holloway Road or something.
It probably is. It's a good one, that.
I got the Exorcist 3. Yeah. Which I really like this.
Can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah, I really like this. I mean, a lot of people, obviously, the first one is fantastic. Everyone knows the first one, and the second one was a bit. Even though it had Linda Blair in it, it wasn't as good. You know, it sort of fell down a bit. You know,
but it's by the original writer, isn't it, or not?
Yeah, and this film is actually directed by the bloke who wrote The Exorcist. You know, but it's George C. Scott's in this, and I just thought this was a good film. This Exorcist 3. I mean. There's one really, really creepy scene where there's like a corridor and the nurse is going in and out all the time, and all of a sudden this figure comes out with all white on. It sort of always takes you by surprise, even now when you've seen it 1,000 times, you know. But yeah, it's good. It is a good film. I like it, you know.
There you have it. You never know what's going to turn up.
No.
What he brings in his little magic bag each week.
Jason Miller's in it as well.
Yeah, I was going to say Jason Miller. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah. The original like guy who played the priest and that, and
famous stairs there as well.
That's it. Yeah.
If I remember rightly, it was based on a true story, wasn't it? But the true story was a possessed boy.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't a girl originally. So
yeah. All that whole thing was all, you know, supposedly meant to be
a little bit of film trivia there,
like
that.
Now this one. Now this is another classic.
Seen this many times. This one.
It's the bloke on the back cover that makes you laugh.
It's the usual thing.
Yeah.
Half of it you can't explain what's going on, and they're always the best movies.
Home Sweet Home.
There you
that's
go.
Called.
Looks a bit like Lou Ferrigno on the back there. You know.
But it's funny because when you gave me that, I think this was one of yours originally.
Yeah.
And you gave it to me, and you said, "Tell me what it's like." And the first scene of the film, there's a guy sort of sitting in his car drinking a beer. And that bloke arrives at the window and he goes, "Hey buddy, how you doing?" And he says, "Want a beer?" And then he comes into the window like that, like, yeah, as he is on the back cover. So you know you're in for a treat straight away. But
I mean, look at that. Certification checked,
yeah,
it says on there. It's like a little sticker on it, obviously from a video shop somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, does it say on the label? It might say where.
No, all it's got on there is
got chiller. So that was on a shelf somewhere, and you just looked along the chiller section.
Obviously, from a video store.
Yeah.
133 it's got on it, which is obviously the number.
Yeah. So they've obviously it's been on the shelves like. And
it feels good having a VHS.
Yeah, I must admit, you can't beat it. It's got once again the original dust is on the top as well.
Yeah.
Now this is the last.
Here we go.
This is the last one for the night. This is the Vigilante, and this was a film that came from our favourite shop in Romford. Sounds familiar, and I think that when we first saw that cover, we said that it reminded us of someone. It reminded us of a
certain Mr. Fernie.
That's it,
if he gets a chance to watch this video, there you are, mate.
Yeah.
On the cover, you pose for it.
Vigilante.
Pete, you'll remember that one as well.
It's the Vigilante.
Yeah, that's the only reason we bought it, wasn't it? Or you bought it?
I think that we just bought it, because it just looked good, and then we said it's an added bonus that the person on the cover looks like Steve.
Yeah.
But it's directed by William. Oh look, here's the sticker. Wow.
There's the original Sounds Familiar sticker from Romford.
Yeah,
Look,
it is.
brilliant.
Used to have all them stickers on.
Yeah, spend a fortune in that place.
Used to say to you, another one to the collection, didn't he?
Yeah, God did. And as I say, we will do a little video stream of the videos up in the collection. Just give you a quick, overview of the whole lot.
As you can see, because it's definitely got some of the ones you've got are ones that I think that, like, some of them are not even certificated, which means that you probably got them at the time.
Yeah.
And they weren't even given like an 18 certificate, and they're the ones that most people are after, the most rare ones, the ones that haven't been certificated, which means they've been original. But that Vigilante is pretty good. It's got Fred Williamson in it, Robert Forster, and basically it's the same sort of story. The guy's wife gets attacked by a street gang, gets raped and then dies, and he goes off as a vigilante, But it's directed by William Lustig. William Lustig, who done Maniac Cop.
Right, Maniac Cop, brilliant film if you've never
all
seen that.
sort of
Bloody
stuff.
great,
So
really
I
is.
think this was kind of like, this might have been the first thing he done.
Yeah.
Another nice actress in this called Carol Lindley. She was in loads of stuff, But it's good. And like I said, got the big box videos with the dust still on top there.
Yeah. Who knows where that dust's from? Obviously off of some form of skin in the 80s somewhere. But again, superb. Looking at them back, it's it's not a massively long video tonight, but we thought we'd give you a little update on what we've been up to, and been looking at videos. Gary's still out collecting videos, and if he sees anything that catches his eye, I mean, this week alone, funny enough, I've been watching The Wanderers, old film, and just so happens Gary's bought a copy as well. So
found a copy on DVD.
On the same level, as they say. Yeah.